We have two eminent speakers here, Dr. Ashok Vaid and Dr. Jyoti Wadhwa ma'am. Dr. Ashok Vaid is chairperson Oncology Medanta, and Dr. Jyoti Wadhwa ma'am is director of Head and Neck and Thoracic Oncology. So, with this, I am also pleased to see all the cancer patients and all the people who are running the organizations. They are doing their great work. We also welcome Prabhat sir, Rashmi Pandey ma'am, and Somil sir as well, and all the patients who have conquered cancer. Thank you. Let's start the meeting.
So, Charu, do you want me to start?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Over to you. Please start.
Thank you, Dr. Charu, for all your hard work and making this happen and giving it a start. It's a momentous day for us, and as Rashmi said that you would remember this day, and Prabhat also said that you would remember this day because this is happening for the first time. And we do hope that with the strong backing and commitment from Novartis at the helm, Somil, Prabhat, and then from Indian Oncology Foundation. Unfortunately, they are not able to join because some of the functionaries are not very well. They are in home isolation. So I thank them in absentia, thank Novartis and the leadership of Novartis for conceptualizing, giving us this opportunity. Of course, my sincere gratitude to Dr. Jyoti Wadhwa and for joining in here, and all those who have found time to come up on this program and energize our efforts, and hopefully we should make this into a movement over a period of time. And what I will do is I will make a brisk presentation of about 10 to 12 minutes, take you through some of the facts and figures and some of the preventable factors as far as cancer is concerned, and also look at the ways and means how we could prevent that. Let me share my screen. Can you see my slides?
Yes.
Okay, good then. So my name is Ashok Vaid. I'm a medical oncologist. I work at the Medanta Cancer Institute, Gurugram. And it's a privilege and an honor to be on this program this evening. And as I said, my sincere thanks to both the organizations for backing us up. Very quickly, what is cancer? Cancer is a group of diseases. It's not a single disease. We know that in the human body, there are about 200 cancers, out of which about 40 to 50 are the ones, Dr. Jyoti and me, we deal with them on a day-to-day basis. And the rest of the about 150 cancers are less common, and therefore making it a very large conglomerate of diseases, not a single disease. And the difference between a normal cell and a cancer cell is that a cancer cell is a unregulated growth. It loses control in the body. All the cells are under a tight control of formation, growth, their lifespan. For example, a red blood cell in the circulation lives for average about 120 days. And similarly, other cells in the body have a pre-programmed lifespan, after which the body actually destroys them and replaces them with a new cell. But in cancer, this control is lost. That's the major issue. And not only the loss of the control at the site where these cells originate, these cells are rogue cells, they're not under any control, and therefore they have a propensity to spread to other areas in the body. So two things define cancer. One, unregulated growth, and second, a propensity to spread to other areas in the body. Cancer cells are very dynamic, and depending upon the type of the cancer we are dealing with, they multiply either slow or briskly. As I said, depending on the type of the cancer, some of the high-grade cancers, very fast-spreading cancers, the division might happen once in about 24 hours, as quickly as that. And in some of the cancers, it may divide in about 6 to 8 weeks' time. And therefore, it takes a long time for a solid tumor, for example, a tumor of the breast or of the lung or any other solid organ, it takes a long time, not a couple of weeks, not even a couple of months. It takes several months to years for a tumor to form to a size of a small grape. And this would contain about 1 billion cancer cells, which is astounding. So at the same time, realize the fact that some of these cells would die off, and therefore the time taken to come to that level would be a long period of time. Now, there are different types of cancers, cancers which originate from the linings of the organs. They are generally called as the carcinomas. These cancers which come from the blood and the lymphatic system are the leukemias and lymphomas, and which come from the connecting tissues like the bones and the muscles, they're called as sarcomas. So these are the three large entities we deal with on a day-to-day basis. Remember the fact that cancer kills more globally, more than malaria, AIDS, HIV, AIDS, and tuberculosis put together. All three of them don't kill as many people as cancer as a single entity does. Let's come to India. For our population, we know that there would be about 17 lakh cases per year, but these are not very precise numbers. This number is deemed to be higher than what it is represented here. And our loss to cancer is very high. 50% of the cases, they succumb in the first year. Why? Because, as Dr. Chaturvedi said, that in the hospitals, what we are seeing is the cases coming in stage 3 and stage 4. And therefore, the cure rate is poor and the outcome is dismal in these cases. There is a question asked in social gatherings, in the clinics, and in informal discussions, that who's at risk and what is the lifetime risk? Everyone is at risk. That's the bottom line. But the probability of getting cancer is high in the Western world, men 1 in 2, women 1 in 3. And for our population, it is thought that the probability is about 1 in 10. What are the lifestyle factors? Up on the chart, one can see that tobacco is the culprit number 1, about 40% of the cancers. And there are about more than a dozen, close to about 15 to 18 cancers which are directly linked to tobacco. The list is long. It begins with the mouth, tongue, cheek, voice box, lung, food pipe, stomach, kidney. It's a long list. So imagine if we don't consume tobacco, as a society or as a nation, we say that tobacco is no more to be used, 30 to 40% of the cancers would go away in the next about 20, 30 years. Why? Because we would be a tobacco-free society, if at all we choose to be. Now, there is actually a WHO alert that obesity actually leads to, in certain situations, up to about 20% of the cancers. So good about 50% of the cancers happen. Why? Because we choose certain lifestyle, we choose a sedentary life, we do not maintain our body weight, we are not exercising, we are not fit enough, we don't remain active. So choice is ours. Rest of the causes are single digit. And family history, this is a question we are asked time and again in a lot of these programs in the clinics. What about the family history? 5 to 7% of the cancer cases would have something to do in the family, but realize the fact that rest of the 90% plus are on account of others. And we were just talking about cervical cancer. These are actually some of the reproductive factors and the viruses, 5%. So some of the cancers are directly linked to virus. HPV virus, imagine if as a nation we start vaccinating all our girls between the age of about 12 to 20 years, 100,000, 1 lakh cases of cervical cancer would be taken care of. So these are the choices we have to make. Smoking or tobacco use is one of the factors. And this would be a trivia which would be good for all of us, that we as a nation have been using hookah and bidi, but cigarette smoking came to this nation just about 115 years back. There is a trend. Why I brought this slide was that there is a pandemic which is going on. If you look at the history of tobacco use over the last 120 years, whenever there has been a catastrophe on this earth, World War I, World War II, Great Depression, the use of tobacco has gone down. And there is an upswing suddenly following that. I hope there is a decrease in the use of tobacco during the pandemic, and there is no spike after the pandemic. Let's hope so. What does tobacco contain? Interesting, again, some trivia. Ammonia, used in floor cleaners. Arsenic, which is a poison. Carbon monoxide, which is a dangerous gas in car exhausts. Hydrogen cyanide, which is used in gas chambers. Naphthalene, and this is what we use in our households. Nicotine, used to kill insects. Tar, which is the sticky substance used to surface roads. This is a very small list. In fact, the list is about 4,000 chemicals in one puff of cigarette, out of which about 60 of these are cancer causing. Imagine what a catastrophe, what a preventable tragedy tobacco is. Now, people say that I never smoked, I never used tobacco, but be mindful why the workplace tobacco ban has been brought in. Why? Because the secondhand tobacco or the passive smoking, what we call as at home, at workplace, in restaurants, in public places, and that contributed to about 15 to 20% of the lung cancers and other cancers. So if somebody smokes in the house, please be cognizant. The others are at risk. Even the children are at risk. They will have higher chances of chest infections, bronchitis. If there is a pregnant lady, the child could be actually suffering in the mother's womb because somebody else is smoking in the household. About 50% of the cancers amongst men in India are linked to tobacco. And this is a dismal figure from some of the cities that 40 plus. And then these are the Bangalore, Bhopal, Chennai, and many cities, and Delhi also is up there about 37%. And mind you, even women who are using tobacco, they are also suffering a higher incidence of cancer. Why one uses tobacco is because of nicotine, and nicotine is like a monster. Once one gets addicted, one follows that. And probably tobacco is the only chemical which is sold without mentioning the contents. Today, even a pudi of bhujia would contain the calorie count, the fat and the carbohydrate content, but tobacco packs do not. And it's estimated that 1 person dies every 8 seconds because of tobacco use. This is the difference between the lung of a normal person, non-smoker versus a smoker. Look at this. And we have seen that ad so many times that how much of tar is actually extruded out of a lung tissue if somebody smokes for a considerable period of time and damaging the lung. These are not very pleasant pictures, but they are common in our clinics. And tobacco also leads to many other diseases like heart, hypertension, cholesterol, and many others. And I did mention about the pregnant ladies and children in the household. Again, this is not an uncommon picture in our clinics. This is a 28-year-old gentleman married for a year or so, and then now has an advanced cancer because he's been using chewable tobacco for very long. So what do we do? Eat more fresh vegetables, stick to the seasonal vegetables and fruits. Do not fall for unseasonable. They are more expensive. They have less nutritional value. The seasonal varieties are the ones which come fresh to you, and add more fiber. Of course, that comes from fruits and vegetables. Choose foods with high vitamin A and vitamin C that would help you in these times of COVID as well by building the body immunity. Now, this is something, as I mentioned, about 20%, that central obesity. You see the girth around the waist, which is the one which is responsible for a lot of oxidative stress and a lot of metabolic as well as malignant problems and issues arising in the body system. So stay as lean as possible, exercise, stay active, avoid weight gain and increase in the waist circumference in adulthood. So this is a gentleman on the lighter side. He's himself busy watching the TV and exercising his dog on the treadmill. This is something very, very unacceptable. Do not smoke, do not chew. There is no safe tobacco in this world. So let's not fall for those light cigarettes and the less irritative stuff, there is nothing like that. And go easy on alcohol. Alcohol and tobacco are two very, very dangerous combos. Now, we talked about the high mortality because of cancer in India, and 50% of the cases succumbing to the disease before the second year sets in after the diagnosis. What do? We know the causes, we know the remedies, some of these remedies, and early detection. It's a formula of 80-20. If you detect early, 80% would get cured. If you detect late, less than 20% would ever benefit on a long-term basis. So idea is to detect these cancers early. First and foremost, be empowered, be knowledgeable. Number two is look at the causes I have enumerated. And number three, early detection. And what are the signs or the warning signals? It's called as caution, change in bowel or bladder habit, a sore that does not heal, somebody is developing constipation or having a blood in the stools or blood in the urine, unusual bleeding or discharge, especially for women after the onset of menopause, thickening or lump in the breast or elsewhere. Mind you, all lumps in the breast are not cancerous. Majority of them are actually non-cancerous, but you would only get to know whether they are cancerous or non-cancerous only if you go and get yourself tested. Indigestion or difficulty in swallowing, this could be the sign of a food pipe cancer. Indigestion probably could be because of the stomach cancers. Obvious change in the water mold, the size changes, the color changes, or there is a bleeding from any of the skin lesions, pre-existing skin lesions, be cognizant. And nagging cough or hoarseness of voice, consult your physician if you have any of these. Well, let me caution you that these symptoms could be on account of many other diseases, but cancer being the most sinister, testing for cancer becomes imperative. Like nagging cough or hoarseness could be a sign of tuberculosis also. Blood in the sputum could be tuberculosis also, but even that needs attention. Only if you go to the doctor, you would ever get to know. I brought this slide back just to refresh that a lot of it is in our hands. Vaccinate for the HPV, vaccinate for hepatitis B, stay active, shun tobacco. And then this is a large bucket we would have taken care of. We can prevent cancer. And by doing all that I'm professing here, we also take care of many other diseases, diabetes, heart disease, peripheral vascular disease, and many more. I would be happy to take questions and get into the discussion. But after I think Dr. Jyoti has made her presentation, we should be doing that. What do you say, Dr. Charu? I think back to you, Dr. Charu, and thank you so much for the opportunity. And I will stop sharing my screen here and over to you, Charu.
चारू जी आप म्यूट.
Sorry, I'm very sorry. Yeah. Thank you, sir. It was such a very informative and knowledgeable presentation. And in case of this tobacco consumption, we also face as a dentist, हम लोग भी face करते हैं चीजों को on daily basis. तो जैसे हम भी ट्रीटमेंट हम भी जैसे क्लिनिक में रहते हैं तो काफी सारे पेशेंट्स इस तरह से आते हैं टोबैको कंजम्पशन करते हैं, तो उन लोग को हम लोग भी बोलते हैं कि दे शुड स्टॉप कंज्यूमिंग टोबैको क्योंकि कैंसर का खतरा रहता है. तो लाइक दैट ओवर टू ज्योति वाधव मैम, प्लीज शेयर प्रेजेंटेशन विद अस एंड शेयर योर नॉलेजेबल टर्म्स.
Can we finish one or two questions and go to the next speaker, because we are very few here.
Sure, sure.
We may lose.
Let's have that. It'll be a pleasure, sir. Yes, please.
Yeah, sure, sir. Sure, definitely.
Yeah, probably that is going to be. Sir, this is. I have two questions. One, why these multinationals and other people who are manufacturing sanitary napkins and tampons? Explain what material is included. I understand. See, my wife used to use tampons. she got ovarian cancer. I still have a feeling it is because of tampons. And is there the silica and asbestos used in these are the cause for this? This is what my considered opinion and feeling is. Can you kindly clarify if I am ignorant about it?
I get your point, and especially the background you're coming from. And we know that so many environmental factors have been implicated, and the chemicals, the workplace exposures, and the exposures on account of the cosmetics and a lot of other things which are actually not even labeled on these products. Now, we know that the talc story is the famous story, which is talcum powder.
Yes.
Talcum powder story is one of the famous stories which is linked to the higher incidence of ovarian cancers. And if we go to there is a very credible information available on most of these the environmental and the cosmetic substances from the US. There is a site by the US government on all the toxic materials which are used on a day-to-day basis, which are around us. And they have an exhaustive list, and they have done so much of study, so much of research. The problem is that till we don't have large-scale epidemiological studies, we cannot come to firm conclusions. As best as asbestos, that is a prime story, where the whole industry practice changed. Why? Because the shipbreaking industry and others, air conditioning, everything was using that. Probably it was not by design, that was something which was available at that point in time. It was only after the exposure over many years that we realized that this is bad for humans. So there is a lot of information available, some very credible information, some still not very well understood subjects. And I take your point that as I said, even tobacco is one substance which is sold without listing the contents on the cigarette pack.
Yes.
So similar movement has to set in for almost everything what mankind uses or humans use. I take your points.
Thank you so much, sir. Last but not the least.
Sure, sir.
You see, I'm happy you mentioned about the vaccination that is required to be given to the girl child to save them from cervical cancer and the next generation to be really saved. But why can't it be part of any type of like DPT and other things? And why government does not take it up as a mandate to see that the girl child is saved from a possible cervical cancer that could come in?
Well, let me stay on this topic for just about 30 seconds to 1 minute. Cervical cancer, our incidence rate is more than about 20 per 100,000, 20 to 25 per 100,000. It's an unknown disease in Scandinavia. In the Western world, even China, the incident rate is just about 1 to 2 per 100,000, which goes to say that it's almost become a extinct disease in that part of the world.
Correct.
But India still continues to be high. That's one part of the tragedy. And we diagnose about 100,000 new cases every year.
Oh my God.
And one woman dies every 8 minutes from cervical cancer in India. By the time we would finish this meeting, a couple of them would have succumbed to this disease. So this is the sad part of the story. Now, coming to your question specifically, that why can't it be part of the vaccination program? A lot of countries in the world have brought in as a part of the national vaccination programs. And imagine Japan, Thailand, and many other countries have made it mandatory even for the boys to get it, because it is preventing the genital warts. So even the boys are getting the HPV vaccine as a part of the national vaccination program. But the constraint in India is actually the finances cost. So that's the biggest concern, because it is an expensive vaccine. So we've been actually working on this for many years now, and we have done a very deep dive into the entire whole process, and the cost of vaccine is prohibitive in India still.
Very
A lot
unfortunate.
of NGOs still cannot afford it to be given to hundreds and thousands of people, and even the government cannot, because the government is beset with polio, with all those things, the infant mortality, the child mortality, And so that has been the focus. I'm sure the government will shift gears and would get into this as well over a period of time. Once they are there, hopefully yes. Once they have seen the polios and all those, they are off the table.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir. Kind of you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Over to Dr. Jyoti Vadhana. Please present yourself. Give your presentation, informative presentation.
Yeah.
We are waiting for your presentation.
And thank you, Dr. Vaid, for giving me this opportunity. I would be talking about cancers in women. Let me share my slides. So are my slides visible now?
Very clear. Very clear.
Yes, ma'am.
Great.
Yes.
So let's start. So my job has been made easy by Dr. Vaid, who has already given a brief introduction to cancer and why it happens. Let me just recapitulate once again briefly. Cancer, as he said, is a group of diseases characterized by abnormal growth of cells. And this growth is not only increased, but it's also uncontrolled. So depending on the part of the body that cancer involves, we name it accordingly. So if it's arising from lung, we call it lung cancer. If it's arising from breast cells, we call it breast cancer, so on and so forth. So the common cancers that we face in India in men, herein I have listed the top 5 most common cancers affecting men in India. To name them, it's lung cancer, which tops the list, followed by head and neck cancers, esophagus or food pipe cancer, cancer of stomach, and prostate cancer. Now coming to cancers in women in India, breast cancer is now the most common cancer affecting women in India, followed closely by cervical cancer, followed by cancer of the food pipe, mouth, and stomach. So as you would have noticed in the previous slide, most of these common cancers are actually lifestyle dependent, and majority of them are in fact associated with use of tobacco. So what causes these cancers? As I said, lifestyle is the main culprit. So broadly, if we try to classify the causes of cancer, almost a third of them can be attributed to tobacco, both smoking and smokeless tobacco forms, alcohol, another 1/3 to unbalanced diet or faulty diet, resulting in obesity and various other defects in the body. A significant proportion, up to 1/5 of these cancers, could be attributed to chronic infections. To name some of the infections, the important ones are the hepatitis B virus. We all know its association with liver cancer. The human papilloma virus, its association with cervical cancer. And there are some other virus infections which are known to cause leukemias and lymphomas. Another 1/5 of all the cancers may be dependent on the hormones, such as breast cancer, ovarian cancer, and prostate cancer in men. A small proportion of these cancers, say about 1%, are associated with pollution, the environmental pollution, such as air pollution is a known carcinogen for lung cancer. And there would be some cancers which could be attributed to some defect in the occupational exposure of an individual. So this slide summarizes broadly the various causes of cancer. So you have noticed in that slide that tobacco is the chief culprit. It is not only cigarette smoking, but also bidi smoking, hookah smoking, and also the use of smokeless tobaccos in form of gutkhas, khani, pan masala, that is associated definitely with the development of cancer over a few years. Also remember that it's not just that whether you smoke, only then you yourself are at increased risk of cancer. It's the increased risk of the persons in that environment, that smoky environment, that they also get predisposed to cancers. So that's called passive smoking, and we have to keep that also in mind. So almost a third of all cancers in India are actually tobacco related. 50% of all cancers in men are tobacco related, and 25% of all cancers in women are due to tobacco use. And it's not just the lung cancer which tobacco causes, it's the cancer of head and neck, the mouth, the food pipe, the voice box, pancreas, stomach. Cervical cancer in women is associated with smoking, and even a form of blood cancer is related to use of tobacco. So let me now talk about some common cancers affecting women in particular. Let me start with breast cancer. So as I said, breast cancer is the most common cancer affecting women in India. Almost 1 in 7 women in USA harbor this lifetime risk of developing breast cancer, and compare this to 1 in 20 women in India. It's quite high, not as high in India as yet in USA, but we are fast catching up because of our lifestyle changes. So if you ask me a question, are you at risk or am I at risk? The answer is a definite yes. All of us are at some increase of getting breast cancer, and you'll be surprised to know that even men can get breast cancer. So let's look at the risk factors that can lead to breast cancer. So they can be classified into 2 groups. Risk factors that cannot be prevented or modified. They are called non-modifiable risk factors, such as the gender. So as I said, women are at greater risk compared to men, but men can also get breast cancer. Aging. With increasing age, the risk of breast cancer increases. Almost 5 to 10 in 100 patients would have some genetic factors such as BRCA mutations, which predisposes them to development of breast cancer. This could be indicated by a positive family history of not only breast cancer, but maybe of ovarian cancer also. A personal history, if somebody has had breast cancer on one side, such a person is at increased risk of developing the breast cancer on the other side. If somebody has had menarche or onset of menstruation before the age of 12, and if that lady attains menopause beyond the age of 54 years, then the risk of breast cancer is higher. Now, let's look at the factors which are modifiable. So we can take some action and take care of these risk factors to minimize our risk of developing breast cancer. So these preventable risk factors are not having children, or having increased age more than 30 years at first childbirth, use of hormone replacement therapy, not breastfeeding the newborn, use of alcohol, obesity, especially after the menopause, and physical inactivity. So all these factors actually increase the risk of getting breast cancer. So there's a lot that you can do to reduce your risk if you act on these factors right now. I also want you to be aware as to how breast cancer could present. The commonest symptom is a lump. However, 9 out of 10 breast lumps are not due to cancer, but each lump in the breast warrants medical attention. So do seek medical advice from your doctor. There could be some skin changes. The skin may appear like orange peel. There could be some puckering of the nipple. It could get inverted. There could be some peculiar rash around the nipple, or there could be some discharge from the nipple. And all these could be suspicious of breast cancer. So as we keep saying, and I reiterate, that early detection is the key to winning the war against cancer. So what can we do for breast cancer? For its early detection, there are 3 strategies. One is breast self-examination. The other is called clinical breast examination. And an important investigation is mammography for early detection of breast cancer. So breast self-examination, all women after the age of 20 must examine their breast once in a month, either on a fixed date or immediately after the periods have ended. One must make it a habit to be examining the breast once in a month, so that that person is aware of the normal self, so that if there's some abnormality, the lady can pick it up. The other is to undergo breast examination by a doctor once in a year, starting at the age of 20. And the important test for early detection of breast cancer is called mammography, wherein the breasts are X-rayed to detect the lump when they are very, very small. Coming to the second most common cancer in women, it's called cervical cancer. And this continues to be an important problem affecting Indian women. More than 200 women die every day because of cervical cancer. And as Dr. Vaid mentioned, almost 8 women die every hour due to cervical cancer. So it's a huge problem still in India. It can present as early as in fourth decade of life. The risk factors for cervical cancer are increased number of sexual partners, poor sexual hygiene, smoking, as I mentioned already, and almost 95% of cases are actually associated with human papilloma virus. So the vaccine plays a very important role, in fact, in cervical cancer prevention. So another important aspect to know about this HPV infection and cervical cancer is that we have a long window period of opportunity wherein we can act and reduce the risk of development of cervical cancer. So it doesn't happen overnight. In fact, from infection to cancer, there is a period of more than 20 years. So if one acts early, one can definitely prevent the cervical cancer. So what can we do? For early detection, Pap smear plays a very important role, and now we have specific tests to look at the HPV infection itself. So what do the guidelines say? The guidelines say that women must undergo cervical cancer screening starting at age 21. One could choose to undergo either Pap test alone once every 3 years, or preferably one should undergo double testing with Pap test as well as HPV test once in 5 years, starting at age 30 until the age of 65. So get in touch with your gynecologist and undergo Pap test with HPV test for early detection of cervical cancer. Now, third cancer specific to women is ovarian cancer, the cancer affecting the ovaries, which are the two glands on either side of the uterus. The risk factors for ovarian cancer are increasing age, infertility or never bearing a child, obesity, BMI of more than 30, a personal history of breast cancer or family history of breast cancer, and estrogen alone hormone replacement therapy. So if one could take care of these risk factors, one could significantly reduce one's chances of developing ovarian cancer. Unfortunately, it presents in late stages and there is no standard screening test. Endometrial cancer, another important cancer affecting women. The risk factors are listed here to name some. Early menarche and late menopause, as was the risk factor for breast cancer. Infertility or nulliparity, obesity, estrogen replacement therapy, diet high in animal fat, diabetes, increasing age, polycystic ovarian disease, a family history, a personal history of breast or ovarian cancer, prior use of radiotherapy or tamoxifen. All these factors do increase the risk of endometrial cancer in women. And it often presents as postmenopausal bleeding or heavy bleeding. And depending on whether it has spread, it could lead to other symptoms. So if somebody has postmenopausal bleeding, one must seek immediate medical advice. Routine screening is not recommended. However, in high-risk women, as I mentioned, one should seek doctor's advice, and they may advise a special ultrasound or endometrial sampling as the case may be. Lastly, I want to say that women also are exposed and at risk of developing cancers of other sites as in men, like lung cancer. It's a big problem, and we are seeing more and more women getting affected with lung cancer, even when they are not smoking. So maybe it's passive smoking or the air pollution. What can we do for cancer prevention? So if I have to sum up, do not use tobacco in any form. Increase the consumption of fresh fruits and vegetables. Reduce the intake of excess of salt, alcohol, pickled foods. Reduce fat consumption. Do regular exercise. Engage in safe sexual practices. practice relaxation techniques like yoga, meditation, pranayam, and do not ignore the warning signs of cancer. As Dr. Ved has already mentioned, the caution, the 7 warning signs, do not ignore any of them and go to your doctor immediately. So choose life by saying no to tobacco, eat healthy so that you stay healthy, undertake regular physical activity depending on your own physical condition. Do undergo vaccination, especially for hepatitis B and HPV, to prevent liver cancer and cervical cancer respectively, and do relax. We are living in a very stressful environment these days, especially because of COVID, but do take out time to relax, and you will be happy and more relaxed to know that about 1/3 of all cancers can actually be prevented. Another 1/3 can actually be cured if detected early. We have now much advances in cancer care over the many years. We are now able to know the molecular subtype of cancers and treat them accordingly. We have better tests such as PET scan to detect cancers. The surgeries are less mutilating. They are less disfiguring. The radiation techniques are much better now, less toxic. And as medical oncologists, we not only treat cancers with chemotherapy, but also with hormone therapy, special types of drugs called targeted therapies, and immunotherapy. So don't lose heart. These treatments are helping many, many women and men live a much better and much longer life now. And I want to say in the end that treatment of cancer is a team effort. Cancer is curable if detected early, and early detection is the key to survival. So be aware of the risk factors, be aware that it can happen to you and to people around you, so that you can help not only your own self, your own family or friend, but others in the society. So I'll end my talk here, and thank you once again.
Mute, sir.
Dr. Charu, you are muted.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am, for such a powerful knowledge-packed session. I would like to continue with question and answer session. If anyone has any questions, please, they can ask.
I'm okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, so we have Dr. Shushma here from, she is a nodal officer, handles chemotherapy and cancer unit in Chhattisgarh government. Ma'am, can you unmute yourself? Hello. Hello. Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, we are glad to have you here. Can you share your views here? Can you share your experiences with us?
Yeah, due to COVID, we are not having patients much. They are not coming here, but some of them are contacting me in the phone. There are persons they need help, but due to COVID now we are not able to help them.
Okay. And we have Florina Singh. She handles CSR of Sanjeevani Cancer Care. Florina, are you there? Hello. Hello. I think she's not there.
I'd like to ask one question to the doctor from Chhattisgarh, please.
Ma'am, there is a question for you, Shushma ma'am.
Yes.
Namaste,
Yes,
madam.
sir.
My name is Dr. Chaturvedi from Hyderabad. Now,
Ji, sir.
I know COVID is given priority, and cancer patients are those people who would like to go for chemotherapy are not able to go. My gut feeling is cancer deaths are higher than COVID deaths because of this particular thing. Wrong priority given to COVID and less priority given to cancer. Can you please tell me your experience in what is happening in Chhattisgarh?
Yes, sir. Yeah, due to COVID, सबका ध्यान उधर ही है और जैसे पेशेंट आना भी चाह रहे हैं ड्यू टू लॉकडाउन नाउ दे आर नॉट एबल टू कम बट those who come they don't get that मतलब best possible whatever we can provide them. That is the difficulty here, present situation.
Are you doing telemedicine with them at least, ma'am, for people who cannot reach?
Telephonically only I am able to give them suggestion or this thing for only 2 patients came here for chemotherapy.
Oh my God. It's a very,
after that and the due date they have not come.
it's a terrible situation. Anyway, God help.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Kind of you.
There is a
Welcome.
question from my side. Pardon, anyone was saying something? Okay. There was a question from my side. Sir, my father died of cancer in 2010. So he was not having any kind of obesity or he was not taking tobacco, but he was just taking multiple drugs. I don't know what kind of obsession he had with some certain medicines. Anything, कुछ भी होता था, कुछ में भी medicine खा लेते थे और बहुत सारा मेडिसिन अपने पास रखते थे तो कुछ भी हुआ मेडिसिन खा लिए तो उससे क्या कैंसर ये हो सकता है क्या कैंसर उससे आगे जाके?
Jyoti, would you like to take this?
Dr. Saab, it is a very vague question. I know. What cancer is that? Which part of it is affected?
No. He was having cancer of esophagus.
It's not easy to define in a subset of patients what led to that cancer. So we only know there are certain associations, there are certain high risk factors, but not necessary that every chronic smoker doesn't land up with a lung cancer. But that doesn't go to say that we encourage smoking. So every rash driving doesn't end up in a crash.
Yeah.
So that doesn't mean that we tell everybody to drive at 100 kilometers per hour. So it's the safety factor which we have to practice in our lives. And if it still happens, then even the recent literature also talks of luck not being on your side. It's a mainstream scientific literature which is saying that it could be bad luck for you. The cells are mutating, the DNA is mutating, and then one mutation could go wrong and then lead to a cancer formation. Imagine billions of cells are getting replaced, and then one cell could actually misfire and then lead to a cancer. So some factors known, a lot of factors still unknown. That is how medical science is at every given point in time.
Yeah.
I fully agree with you.
Yeah, agreed. So, and now I would also like to correlate a vaccine with this cancer patients. Can they get vaccinated in their cancer duration?
So, Dr. Jyoti, would you like to take this? Dr. Jyoti is there.
Sorry, Dr.
Yeah.
Could you repeat the question?
So her is the COVID vaccine and cancer patients. Can cancer patients take COVID vaccine?
Yes. So see, all cancer patients are not same, so they are neither on the similar kind of treatments. So if somebody has been treated, is in chronic phase, one can safely take COVID vaccine. Somebody says on hormonal treatment can safely take vaccine. Just a point to remember that patients on active chemotherapy, or say those who have undergone a bone marrow transplant recently, they need to be made aware that the antibody response, the immunogenicity of the vaccine may not be as good as in other people. So the antibody response may in fact be less than optimal. So they need to be made aware so that they continue to take all other precautions. In fact, even after vaccination, just like you and me, even cancer patients need to continue to take all COVID precautions. So masking, social distancing, hand hygiene, So all those measures assume even greater relevance for our cancer patient.
Excellent.
But
Excellent. Ma'am,
vaccine can be taken safe.
ma'am, I have a,
Yes, sir.
a question connected with the same thing. I'm a cancer survivor. I have already finished my 2 rounds, but so I'm advised to have a booster dose. What's your opinion about it? I'm a colon cancer survivor. 30 years back, I used to chew tobacco. I got my colon cancer. This is what I want to openly tell you. Right? I stopped it long time back, but still, after 30 years, I got my colon cancer. I've taken 2 rounds of vaccination, COVID shield, and now I'm advised to take a booster dose.
So when did you take your second dose, sir?
I've already finished my second round 1.5 months back.
I am not aware. Right now, the current recommendation is only for 2 doses to be taken at 8 to 12 weeks interval from the first dose. There are some studies suggesting that we may be requiring a booster dose sometime in future, but when, I'm not aware. I'm not aware as to the routine recommendation for the third dose or so-called booster dose at this time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ma'am, I had one more question. My mother underwent laparoscopic surgery a long year before. She had her ovaries removed because of endometriosis. Now she complains that she has some lump in her breast. So what can be done next? There is nothing, there is no signs and symptoms. She just has lumps in her breast. And she is not taking any other medication for that, but it pains, sometimes it pains.
So how old is she?
She is 55 years old.
And has she been examined by a doctor for
Yes, yes, but it was said that she has some fibrous growth and nothing else, but still she has pain in that lump. So what can be done?
Mammography was done?
No.
That has never been done?
No.
Has never been done?
No.
So it should be done. She's 55.
Yeah.
As I recommended, in my slide also, mammogram is a very important tool for early detection of cancer. Maybe she has no cancer, which is very, very likely, more likely in fact, maybe she has just fibrocystic disease. But by the age of 55, she should have had a mammogram, at least mammogram with ultrasound, to give you the complete picture, So immediately book for a mammogram by a breast radiologist, and ultrasound also to be combined with the mammogram to get the complete information. So do that immediately, okay?
Definitely. And one more thing, there are some people who are obese. मतलब जो वो लोग क्या करते हैं, वो लोग exercise नहीं करना चाहते, तो they are taking shakes and all. अलग अलग कंपनीज की शेक्स लेते हैं और वो सोचते हैं कि दे विल गो स्लिम लाइक दैट. तो उससे क्या हानि हो सकती है, मतलब उससे कुछ कैंसर का रिलेटेबल है क्या?
So nobody knows, but why I would never recommend somebody to take shakes instead of shaking the body. So eat healthy. So change the lifestyle. Change your diet plan and then do exercise, but don't take shakes. Who knows what they are? As Dr. Chaturvedi was also mentioning, many things are there on the labels also. So why put something inside your mouth if you're not even sure of what you are taking? It could harm.
Yeah,
but exercise will always help, will never harm, and good diet will never harm. It will only help you lose weight also.
Yeah, so
no shake.
Thank you. So any questions from anybody?
Yeah. संदीप, तो सर मैम, हम लोग अभी जा कर के गांव में कैंप लगा रहे हैं, जैसा कि डॉक्टर चतुर्वेदी सर ने बताया, लोगों को जाकर के अवेयर करते हैं ब्रेस्ट कैंसर के बारे में, ओरल कैंसर के बारे में. तो अभी लास्ट वीक में ही हम लोग एक गांव में लगाए थे कैंप में. वहां पर एक लेडी आई थी, उनका जो गाल का पार्ट है पूरा इतना सूजा हुआ था, और जहाँ तो बोले कि एक डॉक्टर से उठवाए थे, कुछ उधर रह गया है और वो बहुत ज्यादा दर्द कर रहा है. तो उनको मतलब, और उनके पास कोई रिपोर्ट नहीं है मैम, तो उनको कंसल्टेशन के लिए कहाँ पर हम लोग रिफर कर सकते हैं, या फिर अगर ऑनलाइन देखा जा सके तो काफी बेहतर हो सकता है.
Dr. Charu, I think you can help. You are a dentist, I learn.
Yeah. Can you repeat it, please?
या मैम हम लोग गांव-गांव में जाकर के अवेयरनेस कैंप लगाते हैं। तो एक लेडी मिली वहां पर जिनका गाल पूरा इतना जो सूजा हुआ था और वो सामने से आकर के बोली, जब हम लोगों को बताया कि सिम्टम से ये चीजें हो सकता है ओरल कैंसर का, तो आई और बताएं कि दांत जो है खुलवाया गया था और कुछ पार्ट शायद उधर रह गया है, उसकी वजह से पूरा जो है सड़न हो गया है उस एरिया में। और उनको कुछ भी चीजें खाने में बहुत तकलीफ हो रही है।
हाँ, तो वो ट्यूमर या कैंसर नहीं कह सकते, वो स्वेलिंग हो जाता है। दांत सड़ा है तो उसको ट्रीटमेंट प्रॉपर करवाना होता है। लाइक बहुत ज्यादा सड़ जाता है कभी कभी, तो इन्फेक्शन जड़ के नीचे चला जाता है, तो उसकी वजह से इन्फेक्शन बढ़ के वो स्वेलिंग का फॉर्म ले लेता है। और इसीलिए जरूरी है कि टाइम पे जब दांत सड़ता है या सड़ने ही नहीं देना है, और अगर स्टार्ट होता है तो उसका ट्रीटमेंट करवा ले। तो दैट इज द थिंग।
और एक दूसरा क्वेश्चन था मैम सर आपके लिए, कि जब हम लोग जाते हैं गांव में लोगों से बात करने के लिए, उनको बताने के लिए, तो वो लोग यही चीज बोलते हैं, मैं तो जो 40 साल से गुटखा खा रहा हूँ, मुझे को कुछ नहीं हुआ आज तक। और वो उसका फलाने का बेटा है 1 साल का, उसको खून का कैंसर हो गया, उसको किसी को कुछ और कैंसर हो गया। तो मैम इस सवाल का जवाब हम लोग के पास नहीं होता है मैम, तो इसके बारे में थोड़ा सा अगर सजेशन देंगे तो बहुत अच्छा लगेगा। थैंक यू।
डॉक्टर ज्योति आप।
ये बताना चाहिए आपको कि सब इंडिविजुअल्स अलग अलग होते हैं, सबकी बॉडी डिफरेंट तरीके से ये है तो टॉक्सिक सब्सटेंस, टोबैको इज टॉक्सिक, इसमें कोई डाउट नहीं है। टोबैको से कोई फायदा नहीं है ना, नुकसान तो करेगा ही, देर सवेर, अभी नहीं तो बाद में, है ना। नुकसान तो करेगा ही नहीं, करेगा जरूर। और सिर्फ कैंसर ही नहीं, टोबैको से और भी तो नुकसान होते हैं, है ना। सिर्फ कैंसर तो सबसे डेंजरस उसका साइड इफेक्ट है, उसका अल्टीमेट रिजल्ट है। बट स्टार्ट फ्रॉम द टीथ, बैड स्टेन टीथ, फाउल ओडर फ्रॉम द माउथ, और उसके अलावा हार्ट डिजीज, ब्लड प्रेशर, जो आपकी आर्टरीज होती हैं उनकी नैरोइंग, उनकी वॉल्स हार्डन हो जाना, नेक्रोसिस और गैंग्रीन होना, सांस की दिक्कत होना, सीओपीडी जिसको कहते हैं, दमा हो जाना, ये सब भी तो करता है वो। और कैंसर तो अल्टीमेटली हो ही सकता है, जो कि जिसका हो सकता है कि इलाज भी संभव ना हो जब तक पता चले। तो उनको ये बोलें कि दूसरा भी अभी रिस्क है, अभी हो सकता है वो लाइन में है, इन लाइन फॉर डेवलपिंग कैंसर, तो उसको देखकर खुश ना हो और अभी बंद करें एज सुन एज पॉसिबल। तो यू मस्ट कंटिन्यू टू एम्फसाइज दैट टोबैको ओनली हार्म्स, किसी को फायदा नहीं करता वो।
संदीप जी, मैं थोड़ा सा मजाकिया उसमें इसका जवाब दूंगा कि मैं ये जब हमें पूछा जाता है, लास्ट ईयर बिफोर द पैंडेमिक, यहाँ पे एक स्कूल के अंदर हम गए प्रोग्राम के लिए, तो काफ़ी बड़ी संख्या में ऑलमोस्ट 1000 बच्चा जो था वो ऑडिटोरियम के अंदर था, और टोबैको को हमने काफ़ी धोया। तो एक 12वीं क्लास का बच्चा उठा और कहता, अपने टिपिकल वर्नैकुलर में कहता, जी मेरे ताऊ जी तो वो तो 40 साल से पीते हैं, वही बात है, और आप तंबाकू को गलत बता रहे हो, मैं तो हुक्का उनका रोज गर्म करके देता हूँ। तो इसका मैं तो यूं कहता हूँ कि सारे जहर जो हैं एकदम से काम नहीं करते हैं, कुछ जहर धीरे धीरे काम करते हैं। एवरी पॉइजन इज नॉट इंस्टेंटेनियस, सो you're consuming poison, तो धीरे धीरे काम करेगा, किसी के शरीर पे जल्दी करेगा, किसी के लेट करेगा। किसी का जूते का नंबर 5 है तो दूसरे का 8 है, तो सबका एक तो जैसा तो है नहीं शरीर, और एक जैसा तो है नहीं, वन साइज फिट्स ऑल तो है नहीं। तो जहर है, जहर इंतजार करिए, जैसे डॉक्टर ज्योति ने बोला कि यू आर इन लाइन,
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
We also say, the youngsters who chew tobacco will never turn old. That is what we tell them in the school. So before turning old itself, they will die. So that is the greatest thing that is had. It has been a great fortune meeting Dr. Ashok and Dr. Jyoti. But for this program, I could not have met you. I'm extremely thankful to this girl who has organized this program today.
Same here. You took
Yeah.
time out and stayed throughout the program with your insights and with such a great degree of involvement. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Dr. Saab, last but not the least, we have now taken up a new program through artificial intelligence. A program has been made where a person coughs into your mobile, and then the mobile tells whether it is something which needs further tests and all that or not. We are now going to make it. It's a Canadian technology. We are taking it now into on mass screening. I think we'll start it once COVID permits us to do it.
Excellent.
Yeah. TB is very high in Telangana, where we stay here. Tobacco consumption is very, very high.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Anyone has any question? We
So-
can take it. Yeah.
Dr. Charu, I don't have a question, but I've been listening Dr. Chaturvedi and Sandeep ji, especially from Sant Kabir Nagar, I have a request to make to both of them. This is such a fantastic forum that Dr. Vaid, Dr. Jyoti, and each one of you are bringing your insights. And I think this forum is going to continue every month. Now, what my request would be, Sandeep ji, अगर आपके Sant Kabir Nagar के एरिया में जो पॉपुलेशन, जो पेशेंट, जो केयर गिवर हैं, अगर वो इस फोरम का फायदा ले पाए, और आज गांव-गांव में छोटे-छोटे डिस्ट्रिक्ट में लोग जूम कॉल से जुड़ सकते हैं, तो अगर आप ये इन्फॉर्मेशन डॉक्टर चारू से लेकर के उन सारे लोगों तक पहुंचाएं, तो शायद बहुत सारे सवाल होंगे जो उन तक जाएं. और आप और डॉक्टर चतुर्वेदी, सेम, you have been so kind and you have gone through it as an individual, as a family. If you can also pass this message to many other people, either through your social media network, through one-on-one contact, I think a lot of people can make use of this forum, and that would be great. And
It's a good idea. I organize programs like this. I get about 50-60 people, and also we stream it through Facebook and all this. Also, there are so many countries that participate and then give us feedback.
Definitely, sir. This program will be conducted every month. Dates and all will be announced, so that you can also spread the word with them, so that they can also
Let us
attend
do
with
it
us.
jointly. I'll be too
Yeah.
happy. I have no problem.
Yeah, sure, sir.
या इसके अलावा मैं एक सर्वाइवर सपोर्ट ग्रुप भी देखता हूँ, जिसमें अराउंड 1000 से ज्यादा लोग हैं. और जो सर्वाइवर सपोर्ट ग्रुप है, स्पेशली चाइल्डहुड कैंसर सर्वाइवर सपोर्ट ग्रुप है, नॉर्थ ईस्ट वेस्ट साउथ, उसमें 10 चैप्टर है टोटल. उसको मैं देखता हूँ, लीड करता हूँ. हम लोग जगह जगह पे जाके अवेयरनेस करते हैं स्टेट वाइज. तो मैं इसको मतलब जो इंफॉर्मेशन मिल रही है यहाँ पर, जो डिस्कशन हो रहा है, रियली वेरी मच इंफॉर्मेटिव और बहुत हमारे लिए वो उपयोगी है, जो हम लोगों को जाकर के बता सकते हैं, इन्फॉर्म कर सकते हैं. तो डेफिनेटली अगर आगे से जानकारी मतलब मिल पाएगी एक सप्ताह या फिर 4-5 दिन पहले भी, तो हम लोगों को भेज सकते हैं, शेयर कर सकते हैं. और इसके साथ में गांव-गांव में भी कुछ जो लोग जूम अभी है हर जगह पर, और इंटरनेट की भी अच्छी हो गई है कनेक्टिविटी, तो लोग ज्वाइन जो हो सकते हैं और उनको फायदा भी बहुत सारा हो सकता है. तो रियली मैं इसमें पूरी तरीके से इन्वॉल्व होने के लिए रेडी हूँ पूरा. आप हमें इंफॉर्मेशन दीजिए, हम उसको जरूर आगे बढ़ाएंगे. या हम अभी सिचुएशन है कोविड का, थोड़ा सा ये सब चीजें नॉर्मल होने के बाद हम लोग बड़ी सी स्क्रीन लगा करके और लोगों को 40-50 लोग को ऐसे एक गांव में बिठा करके भी जो अटेंड करा सकते हैं. उससे जो है काफी ज्यादा मात्रा में लोग को अवेयरनेस मिलेगा. या थैंक यू सर.
बहुत बढ़िया. और संदीप जी, जब तक कोविड है, आई थिंक ये प्रोग्राम कोविड के समय में बहुत कारगर है, क्योंकि कोविड के समय में लोग अपने गांव पे हैं. हर संत कबीर नगर, गोरखपुर, बस्ती, इन सारे जिले में तो बहुत सुविधाएं नहीं है. लोग लखनऊ जा रहे होंगे या दिल्ली आ रहे होंगे. इस टाइम पे जैसा डॉक्टर सुषमा भी बता रही थी रायपुर में, एंड डॉक्टर सुषमा के भी बहुत सारे जानने में पेशेंट होंगे, क्योंकि इन सारे लोग कोविड तो अभी तुरंत छोड़ के शायद जाना नहीं चाहता हमें. सो इस टाइम पे इस पीरियड में लोगों के मन में बहुत शंकाएं हैं, समाधान है के लिए अगर ऐसे फोरम में हो, तो कोविड के समय में आई थिंक और थोड़ी मेहनत से जुड़ना है, इस पे बहुत सारे लोगों तक इन्फॉर्मेशन पहुंचानी है. और हमारा रोल यही होगा कि ये इन्फॉर्मेशन जितने दूर तक लेके जा सके, क्योंकि अगर 1 घंटे का टाइम हमको डॉक्टर वैद एंड डॉक्टर ज्योति वाधवा, डॉक्टर सुषमा जैसे लोगों का मिल रहा है, इसका जितना यूज कर सके हम अपने सोशल मीडिया के चैनल के थ्रू और 1-on-1 आगे करते रहे इसका।
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल। एक छोटा सा लास्ट रिक्वेस्ट कर सकता हूँ सर कि कुछ ऐसे पैम्पलेट्स वगैरह हैं या फिर पोस्टर बैनर हैं अवेयरनेस के लिए, वो चीजें अगर हम लोग तक शेयर हो सके तो हम लोग उसको फेसबुक, इंस्टाग्राम और व्हाट्सएप स्टेटस के माध्यम से भी हम लोग, मतलब ये मंथ में एक बार हो रहा है, दैट इज रियली वेरी गुड। उसके अलावा भी हम लोग डेली बेसिस पर भी उसको जो स्प्रेड कर सकते हैं कि जिससे ज्यादा से ज्यादा लोग तक ये बात पहुंचे और लोग जो अवेयर हो, छोटा छोटा चीजें लिख करके, जैसे आप दिखा रहे थे पीपीटी में। थैंक यू सर।
That's an excellent idea, Prabhat. Somil, I think we could work on that. इस पे काम करके, we could create that content, those visuals, आगे जो which can be shared with them.
Sure, sir.
May I say something? I couldn't get your full name, Mr. PKS.
My name is Prabhat, sir.
Okay. Networking is strength, right? Just before conducting a program next, let us do some networking and do some things jointly. I got a lot of literature developed, which we distribute during our camps. And now we are introducing a big van, which is going to be only for awareness. We are going to say Cancer Awareness Rath. That will be moving in the villages, but showing videos and all that about cancers and creating awareness in people. Let us be in regular touch so that we know what we are doing. And we can always take guidance from Dr. Ashok Saab and Dr. Jyoti Madam.
Sure, sir.
Sure.
So nice of you. Thank you.
Yeah, let's work together. Thank you so much.
So let's take the question to mails. If anyone has any question can mail us. We will definitely revert it back. And it was a great knowledgeable program. And very thank you to all of you for making the program such exciting. Thank you. Thank you for such a great session. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Namaste.
Bye bye.